Joyous early evening. Why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? I put out a video today about the Taoist farmer versus the book of Job. So, why is it that Christians constantly bring up the Taoist farmer and the core theme of the story being maybe about not judging the situation without adequate information? And try to make it seem like the book of Job is the same as the Taoist farmer. It's not. That's intellectual dishonesty. They bring up the Taoist farmer because the Taoist farmer is all about Taoism. It's clear, it's obvious, it's easy to understand. That's why Christians bring up the Taoist farmer. Because Christianity is nonsense. Bible is rubbish. It's not clear. It's not easy to understand. It's a hot mess. That's where the Taoist farmer is simple. It's easy to understand. That's why Christians bring up the Taoist farmer. They're intellectually dishonest when they bring up the Taoist farmer because they're talking about Taoism. They're not talking about Christianity. They're talking about Taoism. Christianity is a hot mess. It's nonsense. It's intellectual dishonesty. So, that's what the conversation will be about. Christians being intellectually dishonest. As soon as Taoist farmer passes their lips, as soon as it enters their brain, they are being intellectually dishonest because they try to make it seem like Taoism has something to do with Christianity, and it does not, because Christianity is nonsense. Christianity is rubbish. I've actually read Bible. Have you? So, let's see if anybody shows up. If anybody dare have a conversation about Christianity and Christians' intellectual dishonesty. We could bring up Taoism. We could talk about the Taoist farmer. Or we can also do my other project, which is this. List of potential human suffering. I claim I have never suffered a nanosecond of my existence. That's my claim. Suffering, I have a definition of suffering. That definition is the evolutionary mechanism that will allow a human being to do whatever is necessary to survive. That's my definition of suffering. Aaron Ralston is an example of that. Aaron Ralston is an American canyoneer, mountaineer, who was out canyon hiking, running one day, and ended up getting his arm caught between the canyon wall and a boulder for 127 hours. In those 127 hours, Aaron Ralston, having a human brain, played out many scenarios, many situations, many possibilities. That's what a human brain does. And after 127 hours, he realized that if he was going to survive, he was going to have to overcome his emotional and physical attachment to his arm, which he did. Aaron Ralston is alive today. Aaron Ralston has had a child. Aaron Ralston has played the evolutionary game. His genes have continued because of the survival mechanism. I have never been anywhere near that experience, never experienced anything like that. That is why I claim I have never suffered a nanosecond of my existence. I've had adversity. Hey, viewer, come on in. 2 topics. Why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? When they bring up the Taoist farmer, they are utterly and totally intellectually dishonest. Because as soon as they say Taoist farmer, they're talking about Taoism and not Christianity. The Taoist farmer and the book of Job, or they left. Anyway, So I have a list here of potential human sufferings: parental abuse, incest, rape, beatings, cigarettes put out on you, stabbing, shot, cut limb off, hit by car. And I've answered these questions. No to all those. Yes, I've been hit by a car. Yes, I've been bit by a dog. Mugged, kind of. Divorced twice. Breakups 3 times. Fired or lost a job. Yes. But those are not suffering. They are adversity. They are hardships. So those are the topics. Let's see if somebody shows up to have a conversation. I guess I could read my script while we were waiting for somebody to show up, which I doubt anyone will. But hey, you never know. Should I bring it up on the screen? Let's see. There, 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 there. And there's my script. The Book of Job versus the Taoist Farmer. So many bad takes on the Taoist farmer and the garbage that is the Book of Job. With the Taoist farmer, so many giving their opinions, perspectives, and judgments, labeling the outcomes of events as negative and positive with insufficient information, just like the people of the village, missing the fact that the Taoist farmer is all about how humans experience time as the human condition. So many bad takes on the Book of Job, not reading the actual words in the story, not taking into context what humans know about letters, words, and languages. What we humans know about every and all books, that every and all books are and were written. The reality and context that both stories were every single book, story, letter, word, and definition. Every single piece of language is created and shared by human beings. The most obvious thing about both stories, yet the thing that the vast majority of human beings seem to want to ignore. The Taoist farmer is so easy to understand and feels so correct. The Book of Job is a joke of biblical proportions that feels like a joke. In true comparison, the Taoist farmer is worth reading and applying to your experience of life. The Book of Job is a waste of paper and ink, literally not worth the paper it is written on. Think about it. Bye. So that was the script from today. I guess I could find the book of the Taoist farmer was brought up in Justin from Deconstruction Zone's live yesterday. An intellectually dishonest Christian bringing up the Taoist farmer to explain something that is intellectually dishonest. That is the definition of intellectually dishonest. If you want to explain Christianity, then you need to stay within Christian doctrine, within Christian lore, within Christian mythology. Going to the Taoist farmer, as soon as you say Taoist farmer, you are being intellectually dishonest. If you need to use another philosophy to explain your philosophy, your philosophy is rubbish, or you don't understand your philosophy. The Taoists probably knew very little about Christianity, very little about Jesus of Nazareth. So let's see if somebody shows up. I guess I could try to find a video. So the topics today are: why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? Christians are being intellectually dishonest when they bring up the Taoist farmer to explain the Book of Job. Because as soon as you bring up a different philosophy, that means your philosophy is rubbish or you don't understand it, or both. Or we can talk about human suffering, potential human suffering. Nope, they didn't want to have a conversation. I guess I'm just not very interesting. Yeah, maybe that's it. Or maybe, yeah, we'll stick with I'm not interesting. Or my topics are rubbish. Maybe it's because the topics I bring up are rubbish. Maybe that's why. Why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? As soon as a Christian thinks, hello, viewer, topics are why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? They are intellectually dishonest when they bring up the Taoist farmer to explain the book of Job. It shows that they don't understand their own philosophy, or that their philosophy is rubbish, or both. Or we can talk about human suffering. I claim I've never suffered a nanosecond of my existence. The link's at the bottom of the screen. You can just plug that into a search engine, brings you up on StreamYard, totally legit site, and we can have a conversation. On the screen now, I have a list of potential human sufferings, and I've answered the questions of the things I have experienced. Parental abuse, no. Incest, no. Rape, no. Beatings, no. Cigarettes put on me, no. Stabbed, no. Shot, no. Hit by a car, yes. Oh, cut off limb, no. I've been hit by a car, but I've never suffered. I've been bit by a dog. Bite. Yeah, bit by a dog. Yes. But I have never suffered. Mugged, kinda. That's a different story. Mental abuse, no. Divorce, yes, 2 times, but I've never suffered. Breakup, yes, 3 times. But suffering is not the same as adversity, as hardship, as pain. My definition of suffering is the evolutionary mechanism that will allow a human being to do whatever is necessary to survive. Aaron Ralston is my example. Aaron Ralston, American mountaineer, cut off his own arm to survive after his arm became wedged between the canyon wall and a boulder. The movie 127 Hours is all about his suffering. He played the evolutionary game as we all do. He won. He is still alive and he now has a child. Hello, viewer. The topic is why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? As soon as a Christian brings up the Taoist farmer to explain the book of Job, they are being intellectually dishonest. Or we can talk about the potential human suffering. I claim I've never suffered. And I do that because on this list, short list I just made up of the things that I've experienced that possibly could be suffering, I've answered no to a lot of them, but to some I've answered yes, but they are not suffering. My definition of suffering is the evolutionary mechanism that will allow a fellow human being, a human being to do whatever is necessary to survive. Aaron Ralston is my example, an American mountaineer that got his arm caught between a canyon wall and a boulder. And suffering allowed him to overcome his physical and emotional attachment to his own arm when he cut off his own arm to survive. Aaron Ralston is alive today and has had a child, thus surviving. So the link's at the bottom of the screen. Just put it in a search engine. StreamYards is a totally legit site. You can come up and we can have a conversation. Again, why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? The link is also in the description of the video. So we could talk about that. Or we could talk about the script that I wrote for the video I put out today. I can bring that script up if you would like. Here's that script. I can read that script for you. The Book of Job versus the Taoist farmer. So many bad takes on the Taoist farmer and the garbage that is the Book of Job. With the Taoist farmer, so many giving their opinions, perspectives, and judgments, labeling, well, they disappeared. So with the Taoist farmer, so many giving their opinions, perspectives, and judgments, labeling the outcomes of events as negative and positive with insufficient information, just like the people of the village. Missing the fact that the Taoist farmer is all about how humans experience time as the human condition. So many bad takes on the Book of Job. Not reading the actual words used in the story, not taking into context what humans know about letters, words, and languages. What we humans know about every and all books. That every and all books are and were written by humans, conveying the human condition. The reality and context that both stories were written by fellow human beings. Every single book, letter, word, and definition, every single piece of language is created and shared by human beings. The most obvious thing about both stories. Yet the thing that the vast majority of human beings seem to want to ignore. The Taoist farmer is so easy to understand and feels so correct. The Book of Job is a joke of biblical proportions that feels like a joke. In true comparison, the Taoist farmer is worth reading and applying to your experience of life. The Book of Job is a waste of paper and ink. Literally not worth the paper it is written on. Think about it. Bye. I guess I could try to find a video. Nah. No need. I could try to find Justin's video today. Where the guy brings up the Taoist farmer. I mean, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. It's so cringeworthy that Christians bring up the Taoist farmer. They're So, links at the bottom. Let's have a conversation about why Christians are so intellectually dishonest. As soon as a Christian brings up the Taoist farmer to explain the book of Job, that is intellectual dishonesty. If you bring up a different philosophy to explain your philosophy, either you don't understand your philosophy or your philosophy is rubbish, or all three. So, StreamYard, totally legal link. Just put it in the description in your search bar, and you can come up and we can have a conversation. Or we can have a conversation about human suffering. But they weren't interested. Let's see, we bring up a transcript. Show transcript. Control F. Taoist. Now we'll just put in farmer. This is just, it's so cringeworthy. Share. So this is so cringeworthy.
So you ever heard the story of the China farmer
No.
who lost his horse?
It's not called the China farmer, it's called the Taoist farmer. But that's fine.
So there's a farmer in China who one day his horse run.
Now realize this guy's talking about justifying. Here, we'll bring it back a little bit here. We'll start there.
It could be good. What would make it good?
It could be good. Well, how could it be good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well, that's I couldn't necessarily justify it, but God could justify it.
How? Does he have different logic than you?
He has better logic than me.
What's the
he
difference?
knows how to use it better than I do.
What's the difference between his logic and your logic?
He's all knowing, right? So,
hello, viewer. Links at the bottom.
Oh, you ever heard the story of the China farmer
No.
who lost his horse? So there's a farmer in China who one day his horse runs away, and the village goes, "Oh, that's terrible," and he says, "Maybe." And then the next day his horse comes back with 3 other horses, and the town says, "Oh, that's so good," and the man says, "Maybe." And then the next day his son is out helping the horses, and he breaks his arm, and the town goes, "Oh, that's so bad," and he says, "Maybe." And then the next day China goes to war, comes through the town and drafts all the boys. His son is excluded because of his arm, and the town goes,
hello, viewer. Links at the bottom of the screen. My question on the table is, why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? This Justin's deconstruction zone that was on 2 days ago. Somebody mentions it, the Taoist farmer. He calls it the Chinese farmer. So I'm curious how Christians, when they try to explain the book of Job, bring up the Taoist farmer. If you have to bring up another philosophy to explain your philosophy is rubbish, or you don't understand it, or both. So this gentleman here, I'm showing the video where this guy brings up the Taoist farmer because Christianity is rubbish. Bible is rubbish. The book of Job, utter rubbish, nonsense. And when Christians bring up the book, the Taoist farmer, back to the video.
"Oh, that's so good," and he says, "Maybe."
Yeah, but no one's questioning whether or not like good things can come from bad things. No one's questioning that.
Well, hold on. So there's this tribe in Papua New Guinea called the Khum Warriors of Papua New Guinea. Have you ever heard of them?
And then this, hello, viewer. So links at the bottom, or it's in the description. Just put in the search engine. StreamYard is a perfectly legal site. The conversation, my question is, why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? My claim is that as soon as a Christian mentions the Taoist farmer to explain the book of Job, they are being intellectually dishonest. Yeah. Well, in this video, after this point, this guy goes and gets pretty stupid.
Right, so death of the flesh. But the soul doesn't die. The soul is immortal, right?
The soul. I'm asking about here on the earth where you and I live. Somebody slaughters an infant. Is it good or bad?
Well, we might perceive it as bad, but it could be good.
It could be good. What would make it good?
It could be good. Well, how could it be good?
Yeah, what
Well,
would
that's
be good?
I couldn't necessarily justify it, but God could justify it.
How does he have?
This Christian is so intellectually dishonest. He's saying human hindsight, how something can be good in hindsight, is evidence of God. I have no idea what this guy's talking about. It's a train wreck, but that's what Christianity is. Christianity is a train wreck. Christians are train wrecks. So let's see if somebody can actually have a conversation. Some screens let you share audio. Look for the share audio checkbox in the next window. Follow these steps to share a video with audio. Wow, I didn't do that. Oh, so I guess that video I showed. No, I never saw that tab before. Hello, viewer. I'm just playing around here. So, why are Christians so intellectually dishonest is one topic. As soon as a Christian brings up the Taoist farmer, it shows that Christianity is nonsense, since they're leaving their philosophy to explain their philosophy. Shows it nonsense. Or we can, oh, poor baby. List of potential human suffering. I think that's actually now what I really want to talk about. But getting someone to actually stick around for it. That I don't have enough viewership for that. Now I have a mosquito. How did I hear that mosquito with earmuffs on? I don't understand how I heard that mosquito with earmuffs. I guess I'll cut off in half and scumbag. What was that? 5 or 6 swings and misses? I guess I'll stay on for a hit. I'll cut off in 7 more minutes. Give this a half hour. Hello, viewer. So the topic is, why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? I hear Christians so often bring up the Taoist farmer to explain the book of Job. Oh, they didn't stick around very long. Hello, viewer. Links at the bottom of the screen. Just put it into a search engine. StreamYard is a reputable company, so no worries there. Topic is, why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? I've heard so many times Christians bring up the Taoist farmer to explain the book of Job or to explain their claimed God. As soon as a Christian utters the word Taoist farmer, they are being intellectually dishonest. If you have to bring up a different philosophy to explain your philosophy, that means your philosophy is rubbish, or you don't understand your philosophy, or both. That your philosophy is rubbish and you don't understand why it's rubbish. So that's one topic. Or we can talk about potential human suffering. I have a list of potential things that humans say is suffering. I've answered questions about it. Aw, they're not curious. So it's not looking like anybody's going to show up, but I will read the script one more time. The book of Job versus the book of Job versus the Taoist farmer. So many bad takes on the Taoist farmer and the garbage that is the book of Job. With the Taoist farmer, so many giving their opinions, perspectives, and judgments, labeling the outcomes of events as negative and positive with insufficient information. Just like the people of the village, missing the fact that the Taoist farmer is all about how humans experience time as the human condition. So many bad takes on the book of Job, not reading the actual words used in the story, not taking into context what humans know about letters, words, and languages, what we humans know about every and all books, that every and all books are and were written by humans, conveying the human condition. The reality and context that both stories were written by fellow human beings. Every single book, story, letter, word, and definition, every single piece of language is created and shared by human beings. The most obvious thing about both of these stories, yet the thing that the vast majority of human beings seem to want to ignore, the Taoist farmer is so easy to understand and feels so correct. The book of Job is a joke of biblical proportions that feels like a joke. In true comparison, the Taoist farmer is worth reading and applying to your experience of life. The book of Job is a waste of paper and ink. Literally not worth the paper it is written on. Think about it. Bye. So we'll give this 2 more minutes. I doubt anyone will show up, but hey, all I can do is show up. Hello, viewer. Links at the bottom of the screen. Let's have a conversation. My question to you is, why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? As soon as a Christian brings up the concept of Taoism to explain the book of Job or their God, they are being intellectually dishonest. If you have to leave your philosophy, your theology, to explain your philosophy, your theology, then you don't understand it, or your theology is rubbish, or both. So that's the one question. Second one is about, oh, no, they weren't curious. And 1 more minute, and then I shut down. I wonder if that mosquito got me. I don't hear it anymore. And we will end exactly on the 30-minute mark. Actually, that's not true because I got to hit the end stream button. Hey, viewer, let's have a conversation. Links at the bottom of the page. The question on hand is, why are Christians so intellectually dishonest? And they left. So I have to hit the end stream button. Then I have to hit it again. 5 or 6 seconds go by, but I will start the process at 30 minutes exactly. Well, watching this in the future, reach out. Let's have a conversation. That's all I can do. 3, 2, 1, ending stream now. Bye bye. Thanks for stopping by.